Hi guys, and welcome to episode 18 of my knitting podcast. My name is Marlene and I'm a knitter from Germany. I wanted to record another episode before going on my trip. I've been talking a bit about it. I'm going to travel to the Pacific Northwest and visiting my friend Chelsea there, and we're also going to go to Flock Fiber Festival together, which I'm like overall I'm just so excited for the whole trip. Seeing Chelsea in person, since we gotten to know each other like not a whole year ago, but like autumn of last year, and I came up with the idea, and it's all been a bit crazy since then. And it's only today is Monday. It's my first day of my holiday, my summer vacation. I'm going to leave on Friday. I've actually started recording another video yesterday, and I was so tired yesterday. It was Sunday. I'd been working all week before that, and I was just really out of it. And I just had to lie down, knit, take like a half nap, and read a lot. And so I thought, it's okay, I'll just film today. I don't have a real schedule anyways, and I probably won't in the foreseeable future, but I feel like it's more important to get the videos out to you on a kind of regular basis, and not like think too much of specific dates. Although I really love having, like, for example, Andrea Mari always pop up into my subscription box on Fridays, but yeah, it just right now it doesn't fit my schedule to always have one specific day as a filming day. But anyways, I feel like this could be a rambly one, or I could be quite quick with everything that I want to talk about. Like I said, I've started another video, which I'm going to see if that works out. I wanted to film kind of like my packing process and me getting ready for the trip. Yeah, I don't know if that's really an interesting video to share, but I thought it would be interesting to see like what is a knitter packing for like a 2-week overseas trip, visiting another knitter and going to a yarn festival, and also what projects am I packing and so on. So yeah, I'm going to see if I can film that vlog and get it ready before, or if it's going to go up afterwards. I'm also trying and going to see how much and if I'll be able to film a bit. I mean, I'm planning on filming like maybe one video about our whole experience there, but I just really want to focus on experiencing it and like on being there with Chelsea. So yeah, I don't know if I'll have a lot of things coming up, but as you could probably tell by the 2 recent short videos coming up on my channel, that's just something that I've tried out, because I've been doing kind of like daily vlogging, not daily, but like a day in a life, or a weekend in the life, or like going to a yarn shop in whatever city, kind of like reels on my Instagram. And so I thought it would be a great idea to also upload them here, because some people might just want to watch video content on here and just pictures and textual content on Instagram. Like, I don't know if that makes any sense, but I thought I'd get into uploading my short kind of like reels also on here. And yeah, that would also be a way of like me more easily showing you some of the stuff we get up to. But of course I'll do a what I got in Seattle and the Pacific Northwest haul at the end of the trip when I've come back. And yeah, so that's what you can look forward to. I'm also going to announce the winner of the giveaway that I did in the last episode today. And I do think that's all for admin. So I'm going to get right into it. As you can see, I'm not wearing any knitted items today. It's been kind of funny weather. I don't know really what's going on. It's really gray outside, a lot of clouds in the sky, but it's still quite warm. And I mean, actually it's quite lovely as a knitter, this kind of weather. But now that I'm off work, I would have loved to go to the swimming pool, like going to swim and yeah, let's hope the weather is going to stay or get nicer and also be nice when I'm in Seattle. We'll see. Yeah, my first finished object though. Today I have two finished objects. One I got quite far with when I showed you last, but now it's finished. And actually I blocked and reblocked it already. It's the stripe hype sweater by Kutovakika. That's what it's looking like. So first of all, the yarn that I used was Olivia and Oliver fibers, hand-dyed yarn for the stripes in the body. It was the Merino, DK Merino base. And then for the stripes on the arms, I used a Sandnes Sunday held double. And for the body, I used a Double Sunday held single. And I'm really pleased with the project, obviously. I did have kind of a couple of issues with sizing. I did actually get in contact with Kutovakika. Her name is Veronica. I got into contact with her because I was quite stunned by the proportions of the sweater when I finished. I didn't block it in a way that I pinned it. I just washed it and laid it flat to dry because I thought I needed size 4. And I didn't think about whether that would come out smaller because I've not had the worst gauge issues in the past. But with this, what actually happened, and we talked about it, and I just wanted to make sure because I think I was one of the first people to finish the garment after it's been tested, and obviously she has a lot of experience, but also her test periods are quite short. I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't an error with the pattern, or just wanted to get in contact with her really to like briefly talk about it. And because when I measured it, I had the measurements of size 3 really. So it was a lot smaller than I anticipated it for it to be. But the thing that probably was really the problem that I ran into was that my gauge changed a bit when I went from working flat, because this is a drop shoulder design, from working flat for the back and then for the front panels to working in the round. I am a continental knitter, I think it's called. So I don't throw my knitting. That's actually how I started knitting, because I was taught by a friend who's an English knitter. But now I just got into, I taught myself how to do continental, and then another friend who taught me a lot, she is also continental knitter. So I got into it. I realized I like it more with my hands in a way, I don't know. And so I do knit a bit tighter in the round just because it's easier. I don't have to purl. Obviously, I do think I'm a bit of a looser purler, but just like a tiny bit. I know some people have like major problems with that. I have not had major problems with it, but now I've realized I've been off gauge in the round by about 2 stitches. It was smaller in the round, right? And so I did reblock it, which means I soaked it again and then I pinned it. Because like I said, if you have the measurements already in the finished garments that you want to get after blocking, you don't need to like aggressively block it. But with wool, what you can actually do, if you're not getting the size, I mean, that's something that probably most of you already know, so I'm like stating the obvious, but I was able to get a couple of more centimeters into the project, which I was really happy with because I wanted it to be quite oversized, and now it's not really oversized, but I mean, it's still lovely. Actually, I'm gonna put it on, like I wouldn't wear it with this, like over this dress, I don't think, but I mean, what the hell. This is what it looks like. Oh yeah, it's actually quite nice. Maybe I'm still going to wear it. I need to check if everything's sitting correctly, but yeah. So this is what it looks like. Actually on Instagram, this is my most liked picture of all time. I think I've received like 1,400 likes for this, and also on Ravelry, like over 50 people have liked it. So it seems to be my most popular make so far with the people. And the feedback I've gotten is people like the colors that I choose. I think there are a lot of autumn season people out there who really vibe with this. I mean, I wish I could have done 2 colors in the arm, but there was just none. Like, I just didn't have any color in stash that I thought like I want to use that. And so I'm quite happy with my choices. So yeah, like I said, I could have probably gone up by like half a needle size in the body when I joined in the round to counteract me knitting tighter in the round, but it's all good. I reblocked it. The sleeves have quite a nice length. It's not cropped per se. I kind of wish I'd done a bit more in the body ribbing. Can I show you like that? It's more like 6 centimeters probably, and not I think she suggested going up to like 9 or 10 centimeters for the body ribbing, and I think I would have preferred that. And another thing that I wanted to say, this is the first project that I've done body shaping, body decreases. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I wanted to try it, right? And so with every project that I'm doing, not with every project, but with most projects that I'm doing, I try to do something different, right? A couple of things that I want to try in the future, for example, are a split hem, a V-neck, cables, color work. And I've done a lot of new things this year. I've done a collar, kind of like with buttons. I've done lace. And so with this, I've done twisted rib before on my Joan sweater. Yeah, so I did twisted rib as kind of like a design element before, but I hadn't done body shaping, body decreases. And so I'm happy that I tried it, but I do like the kind of like boxy fit more. I just think it looks nicer on my body, or I prefer the look of it. Don't really care for any rules, what you shouldn't wear as kind of whatever body type, but I feel like if you like something, it's good to stick with it, right? And so if I would knit this again, I would do no body decreases. Or for example, a friend of mine, after I told her about my not being sure with the body decreases, she just did like half of them, which I think is a great option. And I would have gone like maybe 3-4 centimeters longer in the body. But other than that, I don't think I have any major regrets. But yeah, I think I might just stick to wearing this. Because let's be real, this is a knitting podcast. People want to see knits and not summer dresses, right? And for now, I'm not too hot, so that's okay. The second finished object, I don't actually have with me right now because I gifted it. It's the modified Rick Moss summer blouse by Petite Knit. It in the end didn't actually look anything like the Rick Moss summer blouse because I didn't plug in the lace motif. I just used the specs for the biggest size 6 years old, to make a t-shirt in drop spell. I'm going to insert either here or there. I'm going to insert a picture in the white and navy colorways in stripes. The goal was for it to be gifted to my younger cousin. I mean, my boyfriend told me that he's a 6-year-old. He probably prefers to be gifted like dinosaurs, like, I don't know, toys, books, whatever. And I get that. Like, I'm usually getting them stuff like that, like toys, as they are kids. But I thought, because I was making something for my other 2 cousins, who are girls, I just didn't want to be that like, oh, he's a little boy, he won't appreciate it, I wouldn't make anything for him. I just didn't want it to be like that, just like make something for 2 of them and not for all of 3 of them. So I did it anyway. It took about a month to make. It was my first bottom up construction. I made a couple of mistakes around the raglan and short row area, but none that were too visible. But when I gave it to him, he actually screamed out and was like, "It's so itchy, I can't wear it." And yeah, I hadn't thought of that because it was obviously Drop Spell is a cotton, linen and viscose blend, and I have my Farnham tee made in it, and it's the opposite of scratchy. But obviously he's a child, maybe he's going through a phase. Actually, my mom told me that he's been quite particular with what he wants to wear and what he doesn't want to wear at the moment, so it really is understandable that he just didn't felt like it, or it was just an impulse for him. Maybe he just didn't feel like having something knitted on his skin. That's something that came up with when I was talking about it with people, and I mean, obviously I was a bit sad. I didn't have huge expectations for him to be really grateful or anything. Like, obviously he's a child. It was my choice to make him something. I wasn't planning on having, like, I don't know, being thanked a million times. Obviously he's a child, he's not an adult, but obviously I wished for him to like it. I think that's understandable, right? So when he didn't, I was a bit sad, and like I said, I didn't thought he would react like that. But obviously I took it off him again. He was very funny, and I actually asked his older sister if she wanted to try it, because they are like 2 or 3 years apart. Yeah, 3 years apart. And but yeah, they're quite petite, I don't know. And for him it was fitting a bit loose, not loose, like it had a perfect positive ease. And when she was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna try it on, it's okay," with her it was fitting like next to skin. So I think she could be wearing it for the rest of the summer if she wants to. I just left it with them. My aunt was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry you didn't feel like wearing it." I'm like, "It's okay, just keep it." They have the youngest one is just 6 months old, so they could just keep it for her. Like, I'm over it by now. I was a bit disappointed, obviously, but it's a learning. Like, I think, and that's kind of like a, I don't know, hypothesis I came up with on that day, is like, knitting for kids is fun when you do it, really nice in theory, but I don't know if it's like, obviously you need to like go by what they want, right? If they don't want to wear it because they feel too hot or too sweaty or too itchy, or they might overheat, like you can't put a baby into a mohair sweater, obviously, because it could irritate their like lungs, or I don't, like, you know what I'm trying to get at. I think my how do you say that, even, like, my take on it is that knitting for babies and kids might be nicer in theory than it is in reality. But maybe I'm just like humbled by the experience of making him something that he won't ever wear, probably. But yeah, it's going to be nice. It's going to be kind of like a keepsake. They'll probably hold on to it. Maybe they can put a teddy bear into it, like in it, I don't know. Also, the Anker's bonnet, my friend warned me about Petite Knit's baby things being really small when it comes to the head measurements, and I made a 6 to 9 month old size. She's 6 months now, and it barely fit her. It was actually quite cute because it always fell down during the christening. I always fell down, and it looked like she looked like the cutest little like baby hobbit, because she had like this kind of like hood around her neck. So yeah, I'm pleased with that. It's going to be something that they probably put into a keepsakes box and like hold on to, and it was a nice experience. And it only took 2 days, right? So it's always a question of how, yeah, how much you put into it, really, I think. Okay, I'm actually getting quite hot in this, so I'm going to take it off again. And I can't open the window, obviously, because it's probably going to be too loud. So I'd rather just take it off again. So moving on with my whips, I have my Marco Polo test knit that is nearly done with the body before doing the split hem on the body. I need to go about, I don't know, maybe 5 centimeters longer on the body before splitting the hem. And then I'm going to do the collar and the kind of like polo element of it, I guess. And then I still have the sleeves left to go. So you can see here how much progress I made. I'm trying to get as much done on this as I can before leaving. The thing is, I need 2mm needles for this, for the double knitted elements and the collar. And I don't own a 2mm needle yet, and so I will get it from a new local yarn shop today. I've actually ordered it and it will be there today, hopefully, and so I can get on with this. So this is, like I said, Marco Polo test knit. I'm trying to get as much done before I'm leaving as possible. Yeah, it's been going quite well. It's a tiny needle project, and I'll show you when I'm done, I think. Yeah. Same goes for the Gregoria Fibers Barber shawl. I haven't made much progress on this since I last spoke to you, and so I'm just going to show you really briefly. This is going to be one of the projects that I'm taking on the plane, just because it's really easy to take off the needles here. It's a circular needle, and I've actually, once I come into a rhythm with this stitch pattern, it's quite easy for me to just go on with it, and I feel like I don't need any extra tools to just knit it. Like, I don't need to put any stitches on hold or put in any stitch markers or anything like that. And yeah, so that's going to be one of my travel projects. My next work in progress is again a project that you haven't seen really. I just had cast it on last episode. This is my project for our summer stripes cowl, and again, I've made so much progress without showing you in between. This is something new for me. I feel like I've always shown the project in several stages. I can actually insert some of the pictures I took from some of the stages. I would be interested to see if I can finish this today. I feel like I could. It's the Portobello sweater. This is the Portobello sweater. It's by Coco Amore Knitwear. I've actually already sewn on the buttons. I've sewn in a label, which is off center, but doesn't matter. And I'm actually only, if I hold it to the other sleeve, I only have to go about this much, which is 2/4. It's 4 stripes. And this much progress I made in one night. We were watching some bike sports documentaries. We've been watching the Tour a lot, and I've just wanted to get into the like doping scandals and like learn more about several people that were big in the sports, and about the 80s, 90s, especially the 2000s, where the whole system seemed to have crashed with the doping. Some nights are wild, right? Yeah, we just watched a couple of documentaries last night, and I did get a lot of knitting done. And so so far I've only done a couple of how would you say that, like adjustments on the pattern. I feel like I had a couple more stitches for the sleeves than was recommended. I always feel like I pick up at least 1 extra stitch on each side to close the hole, and so that there's no visible hole or not too big of a hole. And so I had 2 extra stitches, but when I counted them again, I had a couple more stitches. And this first sleeve was actually a really good example of how tired I was the last couple of days, because I seem to have been able to do the decreases quite regularly, and then I just forgot on this part, and so I had to put in another one here, and then I went on quite regular again before having still, I don't know, 6 too many stitches or something, and so I decreased again a bit more, like closer to this thing. I don't think it's a problem. Like, no one's gonna notice, like no one's gonna pick up my arm and be like, whoa, there's an increase that's not supposed to be there, or decrease rather, or be like, oh, your decreases aren't really tidy, aren't they? No one's gonna notice. No one's gonna notice. But yeah, on this side, I've been really tidy with my decreases. And another thing that happened to me on this arm, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. When I picked up the stitches again after the raglan, I don't know what happened, but I was sure that I had 7 rounds already, and that I just needed to do another 8th round of the kit, which is the lighter color. And then I could start with the carry, which is the kind of like gingerbread colored color. But I only had 6. And so you're probably able to see that this stripe is 1 row shorter than all of the other. But when I realized I was already kind of like here, and I was like, who's going to notice? Is anyone going to notice? I don't know, and I don't think so, and I don't care. I don't know why, but this project has been a real I don't care project, because I know I'm going to love it. Like, it's everything that I hoped it would be. It's the perfect kind of like drapey oversizedness. I'm actually so proud of myself on how I worked this button band. It's so nice. The only thing that really didn't work out with the pattern, or maybe it was just me, was having just like regular right like knit stitches here. Because in the pattern, at least the way I read it, it was knit the last, or purl the last and knit the first, which then, no, knit both. Knit the last and knit the first, which then obviously creates garter stitch, right? And it should have been purl the last, knit the first. I don't know if I'm making much sense, but you could see this should have been just knit stitches. And it didn't work out like that. I mean, I thought about duplicate stitching it, but it's already a bit kind of like elevated, a bit 3D. And honestly, I don't care. I don't know why, but this knit is just like, I just want to wear it. I don't care. Who am I? What has happened to me? No, I'm really so excited to wear this. Like I said, the kind of like things that went a bit differently with the arms or the sleeves. Again, I don't mind. Like, I like them to be a bit bigger. I feel like this is going to be the perfect like sweatshirt. Concerning the yarn, this yarn was gifted to me by a Knitter's Wish, which is a really nice online shop in Germany. And it's the Sandnes Garn Duo in kit and carry, like I said. My friend Lydia, she's making the reversed version. When we came up with the idea of making a knit along together, I wanted to make this Portobello sweater since seeing Cheryl Mokhtari post about it, and then me missing the deadline to test knit for her. But then I test knit the Brighton tee, and that's how I got into the whole stripes era this spring and summer. Then I made the Farnham tee stripe design, and so I feel like now I'm majorly striped out. In a way, I'm like, I don't want to hold any more colors. I just want to knit like one sweater, one color, and I will do that. when I'm coming back, I'm probably going to cast on Ahna's sweater, which I then hope to finish by the end of the year. But this is going to be a really easy raglan one color sweater and I'm looking forward to that. But I'm giving myself some time to make it just because it's going to be bigger than what I knit for myself. But yeah, other than having a couple of stripes in some socks, I don't feel like any more stripes this summer. I'm striped out, but I had so much fun. Like, I love all my stripey project. I feel like a lot of people have told me that they got inspired by all Cal and made some stripey projects, which I'm so excited to hear. And also it was a great way of getting some yarn out of stash or use that I had previously planned for something else and then didn't use. But yeah, this was one of the Petite knit tags, and actually, hold on a second, I didn't say about this. This is one of the typical Bliss tags that I got. I bought from Tiffany, and both are actually going to be included in the giveaway that I'm going to announce the winner of in a couple of minutes. My second to last work in progress is my peachy vanilla sock. It has the kind of like athletic stripes. I still need to. These are made with the Beehive Yarns sock set that I got in Brighton. I now need to decide what color I'm going to use for the toe. I'm not using the peachy color actually, that is speckled in here. I'm probably going to use that for a shorty version with the leftover of the main color. But I'm using these two contrast colors. And now I need to decide whether I want a white toe or a brown toe. I don't know yet, but yeah, it's been really fun to knit on those. I'm using 2.25mm needles just because I'm using my 2.5 in my polo shirt test knit. Those ones I usually use for socks, but it doesn't really matter. I've come to find I'm doing 74 stitches, German twisted cast on, 1 by 1 ribbing for like I think 10 rows, then 5 rows of striping, 5 rows of the main color, 5 rows of stripes, and then going on to do my first ever fish lips kiss heel. Nitty Natty has been talking about it a lot, and I think Venetia from the Woolly Worker has also tried this. And so yeah, I've just thought, I think this looks nicer, maybe, hot take, with a contrast color than the heel flap and gusset does. I always don't love when a heel flap and gusset has a contrast color. I just don't think it's as nice as when it's just a lot more. I feel like this is just a lot more space to be in a different color. I don't know if I'm making much sense here, but this was my first time. I bought the pattern. I really liked it. I'm happy that I found it. I've done one short row heel before. It was just in German it was called Boomerang-Ferse. It was also nice, but I feel it was a bit more labor intense. And I really liked how easy this was. Just as a heads up, I bought the pattern off of Ravelry and I only used pages 9 and 10. Those are the only pages that you need if you're knitting cuff down, like, yeah, not bottom up. The other pages would actually be handy if I would like to try out a toe up sock and find kind of like my perfect sock recipe. She has kind of like how you can kind of like get a recipe for your perfect sock in there. So it's a lot of pages. Please don't get intimidated by it. it's funny because I think Nitty Natty said the same thing on her last episode, which I watched like 2 days ago. But now I'm blanking. Yeah, I was smiling to myself when she said all of those things because I just had realized them for myself right before watching her episode. And then I continued knitting on my sock. But yeah, it was nice to try something new. I'm not saying that I'm going to want to like try all of the different socks ever out there. I don't think that is me right now in my making journey. But I feel like it's nice to have like 2 options for heels. And I think this would also be a nice option for maybe sock knitting, just like changing it up in sock knitting. And so yeah, I'm really liking that sock project. And my last work in progress, I hope that I'm not forgetting anything, but I mean, yeah. It's my corn cardigan. I've actually finished the button bands on this and I started a sleeve. I'm a bit scared that the whole project is a bit small. I'm making size 3, which by calculating should be fine for my size body. And I just hope that, I mean, you can tell it's going to block out. I'm going to pin it, I'm going to block it, and I'm just going to hope that it's going to fit. It's going to be cropped. That's something that I chose to do. And yeah, I can't wait to put on the buttons. So right now I'm not sure where those buttons are, but they are the chunky novice sweater buttons by Petite Knit. They're actually 23mm big. This pattern calls for a 20mm button, I think, I'm not sure. But I've put them on, like I've held them onto here, and I really liked it. One alteration that I had to make because of that was I had to change up the buttonholes because I wasn't able to put in the button with the buttonhole method that Rebecca recommends in her pattern. I actually just plugged in the buttonhole technique of the Portobello sweater into this sweater as well, and just cast off 3 rows, 3 stitches before then in the next round using the backward loop technique and cast on 3 new stitches again. Not trying to get into too much detail, like I said, because it's in another pattern, but it's nothing special. It's something that you can actually Google and then find the technique for. But yeah, I'm quite happy with it. This project has actually been hurting my hands a bit just because I'm not used to doing lace, and the sleeve is actually working up a bit slower than I hoped it would. I wasn't actually able to do the sleeve decreases just really because I couldn't figure them out. I tried for a couple of times. I failed on each of them and I got really frustrated at some point. And so I just decided not to do them. I'm not sure if that's going to like nick me in the butt when I'm done, because I then won't love the end result. But actually it's still already quite a tight sleeve anyways. I mean, it's on the wrong way now, but just to show you, I mean, it's still going to block out a bit, I think, but it's already quite a tight sleeve, and so I don't think it'll be a problem at all. I am just going to knit to the kind of like bracelet length and then decreasing maybe every 4th stitch, I thought, and then just doing the ribbing, because I just couldn't get into, after doing the decreases, get into the rhythm again, like get into the pattern again, which probably comes from me, like this is my first lace project. But I also said this is kind of like an autumnal project, and it's okay if it doesn't get finished like next week. I could have probably done it a lot quicker because actually it's a 5mm project, 5mm needle project. It's explained quite well. The project, the pattern is nice. But it's also okay if I'm taking some projects a bit slower, and just being a bit quicker with other ones. And I'm quite all right with that. Next, I'm going to talk about some of my acquisitions. I have 3 acquisitions. None of them are yarn, but 2 of them are from Petite Knit and 1 is from Phoebe and Mercy. And I'm going to start, did I say none of them are yarn? That's a lie. This is yarn, oh gosh. So this is Phoebe and Mercy hand-dyed yarns, the Merino high twist sock set. It's 80% Merino superwash yarn and 20% nylon. This is the Peregrine Took mini sock set, and it's gorgeous. And the thing I might love the most about it, like obviously other than the yarn, is how she just put a label on everyone, like on every single one. This is Somewhere's Gamgee. This is the one ring to rule them all. It's probably not making much sense. This is Merino Brandy Block. This is Peregrine Took, obviously the one that the whole thing is named after. And this is Gandalf the Grey. And as a huge Lord of the Rings fan, I love this. I'm thinking about, because I have 100 grams here, I should be able to do a striped sock with this and then put the rest of it into my scrappy blanket. I've actually only thought about the blanket when I got it, because I wanted to just have all of these like really beautiful colors in my blanket. But I think I could get a sock set and some leftovers from my blanket out of it. And so this is probably what I'm going to make with this. The next 2 things I got from Petite Knit from her latest shop update. This is the Knitter Needle Case to go. I got this because I wanted something from my cacao needles and something that I could take with me a bit more easily. I've got the Mood one, the big leather one, and I have all my Knit Pro needles in there. But I wanted something for my C-knit and cacao needles, and there's not much in here yet. But I've got my cacao red lace cables and needles, and I've got my fixed circular C-knit in here. And I think it's just really nice to have some stitch markers, maybe a tiny scissors in here, and just have one thing that I could just really easily chuck into my project bag and take with me, but also something that is predominantly for my sock knitting or like really tiny needle knitting, which I like. And because my needles didn't actually fit all into my Stockholm case by Mood anymore. And the second thing that I got is the Petite Knit Knitter's Tool Purse in the apricot flower version. This is kind of like the design that she's brought out most recently. I really like the color, and I've got my Mood scissor case plus scissors in here. I've got my Sislere ruler and kind of like needle measurer in here. I don't actually know what that's called. Is it a ruler? It's a wooden measure thingy jiggy, I don't know. I've got my darning needle case, which is bamboo and by Sandnes in here. I've got my Petite Knit tape measure in here. I've got 2 needle stoppers in here, and just another thing that just fell down is one of the Petite Knit Barber cords. It's the really small version, and I actually cut one of them. So this is the perfect, I'm not going to put it around, but this is the perfect size for putting sleeve stitches on hold for me. So I cut I got 2 sets of the Barber cords, and one of them I can't speak, I cut. So I didn't have really long ends hanging off my sleeves. I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, that's all I got. This is my shopping. Here you go. Thumbnail. And yeah, so like I said, I'm hoping to talk about my future plans and what I'm bringing to the Pacific Northwest in future videos. I just wanted to briefly talk about some media and personal stuff. I've been doing that really irregularly, but just recently, like I said, I've been watching a lot of the Tour de France, just because my partner is also into cycling, and I don't know why, but I got a bit more into it recently, just watching it, not doing it myself. But we went to the tour in Germany last year and watched because it came through our city. It actually ended in our city. And yeah, he and his brother, they're majorly into cycling, or they've been all their lives. And so I've been watching that a lot of the afternoons. And then the one thing that I had to talk about on here is the new Greta Gerwig movie. It's Barbie. Just wanted to put out a huge recommendation out there. I've watched it, I think it was last Wednesday already. So I went to the premiere in Marburg in our cinema, and I've had high expectations of it. I know so many people don't have high expectations because they probably don't know the director, or just see Barbie and the like sheer pinkness of it all, and just expect it to be I don't know, like a movie about a toy or a figurine that really messed up women's beauty and body standards, which it's a lot more than that. I've actually put up a story with most of my thoughts. I just wanted to say I love the set design, I love the music. It was like going to the Grammys. I was kind of like dancing in my seat. I was sitting there for like nearly 2 hours with my mouth, like unable to close my mouth, because I was in awe of everything that was happening. I need to go watch it a second time, obviously, to maybe get everything. I was crying from laughter, and also because some parts just hit differently. I also said that as a person that has spent lots of her time in her 20s reading like feminist literature, like bell hooks, for example, or Margarete Stokowski in Germany, or so many other different, like, I don't know, Annie Ernaux, or just, yeah. And I've also done like in university, I've spent my time, like chose to do several extra courses on gender studies and such. So I've spent a lot of my time reading feminist literature, and so a lot of the takes in this movie weren't, like I said, revolutionary. Like they were really, yeah, we knew that, but I don't think that the audience, particularly most of the people that just go now watch the movie because of the hype, that it's rightfully created, will know all of that. Or maybe they will know in their hearts already, but maybe they haven't said it out loud. And I think it's the perfect way of having the fun of it, like the sheer joy of this movie, combined with the social commentary and the critique and the feminism of it, be combined into something that is really, in my eyes, genius. I mean, I think that's all that I'm going to say. You should go watch it. I know a lot of people have now already gone out and watched it, and you should too. I really loved it. Other than that, before getting into the giveaway winners, I wanted to talk a bit about the books that I've read and finished and what I'm reading right now. I told you in the last episode that I was reading Cleopatra and Frankenstein and the 1,000 Coils of Fear. Both weren't books that I couldn't stop reading, right? They weren't like page turners where I was like, I can't go to sleep now. I was more easily getting tired and falling asleep with the two of them. It's not like they're not good books. It's just that both actually have kind of like really difficult topics in them. Some of them I relate to in a way that made it difficult for me to read further at some points, and others where it was just a bit difficult to relate. Maybe that's actually a good explanation for it. I sometimes feel like I'm not the most articulate with my English when it comes to book reviews. I love reading so much. I've actually done a lot of book reviews over on my Instagram, but recently I've just more so enjoyed the process of just reading and then being like, yeah, I enjoyed that book, or I mostly enjoyed that book, and not having to, like what I just did with the Barbie movie. Sometimes I just need to take some time to let it sink in and then form my opinion about it. It just doesn't, I'm not the biggest fan of putting things in just really strict categories. Like with, for example, Goodreads, I use that. I link it so you can befriend me there if you also a reader down below. I've come away from like rating things just because I mostly don't feel like it's enough to put something in a category from like 1 to 5 stars. I felt the same way with Lessons in Chemistry, which I had so many problems with that book, and at the end I was quite a bit disappointed with it actually, but still it was a book that I read through in like days and I couldn't stop reading, right? And with these two, especially this one, I felt it was so important what she did right, but also was really difficult sometimes to read some of the things that she wrote. And with this, it felt just really unrelatable, most of the characters, and I was actually quite annoyed with some of them quite often. And I thought that in both books there were passages where I would have given the book like 1 star out of 5, but also there were just parts where I felt like, yeah, that hit the spot. Like, this is what words can do. This is what humans can do with words, and what can actually split you open like in a second and like pull your heart out, right? Oh, I feel so dramatic speaking about it. But yeah, these were two, I feel quite ambivalent about both of them. And I wouldn't recommend any of them per se. I feel like this should be something that should be read maybe in school. Even it's about, I didn't say that, right? It's a book about a Black woman living in East Germany, and then after the fall of the Berlin Wall, also in like the United Germany, I don't know, and about kind of like moments of happiness, moments of devastating loss and trauma and fear. And I mean, yeah, this book is about fear, this book is about racism, this book is about love, this book is about queerness, this book is about relationship to parents and grandparents and your possible own children in the future. And it's, in some ways it's funny, in other ways it's like I was feeling sick by what I was reading. It's difficult to explain. And with this, yeah, it was just very unrelatable, a bit overdone, and in other ways it did also split me open on some pages, and I was like, oh yeah, that is really real, this is really raw. So yeah, a really long, not very easily captured book review. I don't know. I hope this is something that you also enjoy watching or listening to and not too boring. But coming to a more easy book review, this is what I'm reading at the moment. This is my first vacation read. I'm actually a bit more than halfway through, and I only started this like 2-3 days ago, and I've not been reading like hours on end. I could probably start and finish this in a day, but I don't want to. I want to have like small bits throughout the week of this. I'm going to try and finish this before Friday, before leaving, and then taking book lovers on my trip, and that would have been my whole Emily Henry experience round up. I love this book so far. It's really, really good. That's really easy, right? This is an easy book review. I love this. This is my happy place. This book is, I don't know, like I've put in a couple of, this is how I signify that there is something that I wanted to come back to. Oh yeah, actually, I got this in Dawn Books in London, and look at that. She's actually talking about Dawn Books. I love her pop culture references and how you can really find yourself in, especially in this book, there's a friend group, and I feel like you can find yourself in each and every single one of that friend group, which I like that about this book. And I'm so happy to continue. I'm so happy to continue reading it. To finish off this episode, I'm going to put up the person that won the giveaway up here. I'm going to, after filming this, I'm going to use a random comment picker and pick the winner. And I'm going to ask you to get in contact with me either on Instagram, via my email that's linked in my YouTube profile. Yeah, that should be the two ways. You could also text me on Ravelry, but Instagram or email would be great. And send me your address. Maybe find a way of making sure that I can see that this is you. So the name should be in some way visible for me. And then I'm going to send you the package of knitting tags and the Barber cords. And I'm again wanted to say thank you so much. I loved reading through all of your comments on my last video. Thank you to everyone who participated in this giveaway. There's going to be another one, maybe for like hitting the 5K follower mark. I don't know. I'm sorry, I just got a call from my dad. Is it still going? Yeah, just wanted to see that we're still going. And yeah, that's all on the giveaway stuff. And then I just wanted to recommend 2 podcasts. Actually, both of them are called Ahna or Anna. Ahna. No, one is called Ahna and the other one is called Anna. And they are both here on YouTube as well. I just don't think I've recommended them before, but I've been watching them for some time. First, it's Brooke Willow. She's called Ahna, and I really love how she's doing such unique project. She's also sewing, which I get quite inspired by. I know I've talked about it on Instagram a bit. I want to get into sewing. I've just not found the time recently to get the sewing machine set up that I would be able to use at my mother-in-law's house. But yeah, I think she's really inspiring. I really like the project she's making. I like the color she's using, and I like the aesthetic, just the overall aesthetic of her videos. And the second person I wanted to mention is Ahna. She is Apt Atelier. I'm actually planning on meeting her in Seattle at the Flock Fiber Festival, and I'm so excited for it. I really also like the project she's picking for her making adventures. I like that she's really thrifty as well. She has a lot of really informative and interesting videos about reusing yarn and things like that. And so these are my two podcast recommendations. Both of them just seem so lovely, and I really enjoy watching their videos, and this is why I just wanted to recommend them to you. And like I said, Anna, I'm looking forward to meeting you in Seattle in 2 weeks. It's crazy that it's so close, and I'm just so excited. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please feel free to give it a like and subscribe for more content. Like I said, I'm going to try and take you along a bit on my trip. Yeah, I really enjoyed filming this episode today. I will try and get my sock and my Portobello sweater finished for my trip, to cast on a new sock, and then get as much done on my polo sweater as well. And I'm happy to see you again when I'm back, and we'll be filming another podcast episode. Bye!